Hey, everybody, welcome to the Jeep Life Podcast live edition, where everybody tunes in from home and watches us be amazing people.
I wouldn't go
Jeepers.
that far.
And, I'm going all the way there.
Okay, do we have a washer yet?
Not yet. It usually takes about 8 to 10 seconds for Gonzalez to get on.
I was going to just say that. I was like, oh, my God. What is the definition of a nanosecond? Pushing the button.
Well, it's just live now.
Yeah.
So.
There you go. We're on a 10-second tape delay, which is very important. Actually, it's like 30-some seconds.
One. We
tonight.
have one.
We have one.
Who's the one? It's probably Jason,
It's you.
actually. No, it's not. I'm not technically the one because I didn't click on the video yet.
I did
right.
it. I did it.
Oh.
Now I am the second one.
It's so exciting.
It really is. It's it's been a hot minute since we've been able to get on. My bad.
We have commitments.
We do.
There are other agenda items afoot.
Unfortunately, we have commitments.
Yeah, we have that.
You've been bouncing around. There's been bouncing around. There's a lot of bouncing around.
Yes. All right. Well, I know we're probably not going to have an extremely large audience tonight because we haven't been consistent.
And also, there's
There's a big.
there's a gosh darn Eagles game
There
on
is a-
tonight.
There is an Eagles game on, so let's.
I know. Let's go.
Let's just
Let's
let
go,
her.
Idaho.
Let me.
Push the magic button.
I'm just hitting record because I'm schmuck. Part 1 on that.
Version 1.0.
All right. Yeah, we're not getting any large traction right now, so let's go ahead and kick it off. I'm gonna hit the button, and we're gonna hear some Nike. Or not. Well, hey, everyone, and welcome to the Jeep Life Podcast. We are proudly presented by Armorlite, the toughest flooring on the trail. Just about everywhere you go, you need to make sure the interior of your Jeep looks good, it feels good, and it's easy to clean, and Armorlite does meet all of that criteria in a wonderful way.
It does, only if you clean it.
Well, it meets most of the criteria whether you clean it or
It is not self-cleaning.
It
That
is
yet to
not
be invented.
self-cleaning, but it is self-draining,
It
which
is.
is a very nice feature.
The plugs, yeah, for sure. The drain plugs.
Yep. When you remember to pull them now, obviously.
Right. Well, I literally, I don't know how, but I kicked the back one out, and it was just floating around for the past couple days.
It happens.
But go to them right now at goarmorlite.com, put in Jeep Life Podcast 10, and you're going to get a complete system for 10% off. And basically that says, hey, we heard about you from the Jeep Life Podcast, and we want to buy that stuff. Do it now. Our thanks for Armorlite for being our sponsor, and tonight's show is presented by them. And cool. Well, earlier we heard some music going on when we did our intro. And we're honored to have in the studio, as just a member of the studio audience, the guy who did that music. And Nike's here. So give it up for Nike. And thanks for coming out and hanging out with us.
Woo!
Yeah, Nike's a Jeeper too. So
He is. He's got a pretty cool Jeep.
he's got 2 pretty cool Jeeps.
I haven't seen the other one, though. I only seen
Yeah,
Oh,
one.
well,
really? There's 2?
Yeah, his dad drives that one. It's a YJ. And it is beautiful. It's a white YJ. Looks like it has, you know, the fender
Flashing.
plastic flares. Oh, it's super nice.
Okay,
But
then.
our thanks to Nike for how many years of doing the music for us, and I think he's got some more coming at some point. We'd
That'd be
love
really
to hear that.
cool.
Anybody done any Jeeping stuff lately?
Yes.
Yeah.
He has.
Well, you have, and I have.
What have I?
You've been on repair duty.
Oh, yeah, you
as I
you
have.
have.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've been working
It's been-
hands deep in a transmission of my sister's LJ, but that's kind of just besides the point.
This is an ongoing saga.
This is the annoying ongoing saga that I just need to get done and finished. It's halfway done.
Halfway.
I've done enough breaks.
But
on
unfortunately, I'm sitting here recording right now instead of
Oh,
working
yeah,
on that
mister.
Jeep.
It kicked us out of recording last weekend.
Well,
That is
yeah,
correct.
part of it.
it got overruled. I've done enough brake jobs on Jeeps lately that I think I'm an expert at probably a decade range, 2-decade
Yeah,
range
yeah,
of
yeah.
vehicles.
Well, once
So-
you do one brakes, you know how to do like
Once
10
you do
brakes.
one, you did them all.
Yeah.
We have 4 Jeeps over there in that neighborhood, right?
That is correct. I got people that come by. I had a neighbor that actually I was working on my one daughter's TJ, which is a 97 TJ, and he goes, "That's my favorite one in your fleet." And I go, "Oh, I own a fleet. I see. Okay, I've been elevated to fleet status." But yeah, so it's been that. I recently had another repair job of that very same TJ where it spontaneously started to go AWOL on me,
Oh.
quitting randomly, wouldn't restart, not sputtering, just literally as if you had turned the key off. And after conferring with the doctor and Mr. Billy, it pointed me towards a crankshaft position sensor, which I replaced, and it seems to be the magic number.
Yeah,
So-
those are guilty of
That's-
all of those things.
That's what-
kind of what we think.
Yeah, the vote was in from my esteemed colleagues, and I said, "All right,
Yeah.
I got 7 things to chase. I'll start with number 1." So yeah, just more maintenance and Jeepin' maintenance and
That's
Jeepin' fixin'.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not the most obvious, but it is the easiest to
It's
diagnose.
spotting. It's
Yeah.
spotting that behavior, which is what
It's-
we were
yeah,
focused
it's the
on while we were
trends
talking.
and yeah.
It's like, what did it do? Did it sputter? Did it do this? No. Okay. Then it's not fuel filter. It's not a fuel pump.
Yeah.
That's a big
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
What's it smell like? Oh, smells like a crankshaft position sensor. Man.
Right. They have a very distinct smell, don't they? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding.
Very true, though.
But no, I find that sometimes troubleshooting, I did that in a former life a lot.
Oh, yes, you did.
I think that sometimes we forget to look at the easiest thing first.
Occam's razor.
Yeah, even if it's in the ballpark, go for the easiest thing first, and that
Correct.
kind of eliminates.
Sometimes the simplest
Yeah.
explanation is the answer.
Yeah. And that crankshaft position sensor, dude, it
And it took me 20 minutes
it
on
ruins
that
a
vehicle.
lot of things.
On
It's
that
a pain.
vehicle,
It's ruined multiple times wheeling.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, right.
Plenty of times
for
wheeling.
sure.
When he looks at me virtually across the phone and he goes, "Look, my vehicle sat dormant for a week while I research this. Trust me, it smells like that." I'm like, "All right,
Wait,
man,
hold
I'll
on,
go do
not
it."
sat dormant. Sat dormant at AOAA.
Oh yeah, right. Yep.
It sat at the park
And
for a
I'm
week.
like, "All right, well,
Yep.
good news is it's in my garage."
Yep.
So,
Yeah, that's the other thing is you have ready access to.
It's a whole lot easier
Yep,
when it's in
for
your
sure.
garage.
Well, on the same theme, I had Bill at Hardline 4x4
yes, you did.
do some work on Lexi's Jeep. It was just a mountain of things that needed to be done, and we've been talking about it for a long time, and it's one of those things where I don't have a garage that I can tear something
Yeah,
apart.
you have
in.
limited operational
right.
space.
And I don't have also the skill set to do some of the things that we were doing. And our calendars couldn't line up
Mm-hmm.
here, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it to Bill and let him do his thing, because he and John they're great guys, and their hands are terrific. But when I got this Jeep, I knew that the front end, the steering needed some work.
Mm-hmm.
I know first day we went and looked at it.
Yeah.
We knew that needed to happen, and so the good folks at Steer Smarts makes some amazing steering stuff. And so
was there a focal point that was a problem, or
it just was? It was a 14-year-old Jeep, and when you get down to a 14-year-old Jeep, all the bushings are crap. Things may have been bent from hitting a stump or whatever. So it was
or a curb.
I'm
or a
older. I'm
curb.
older than 14,
Right.
and my bushings are worn.
No doubt. No doubt. So it was one of those things where my daughter's safety was
Yeah.
a big consideration, and I'm
Sure.
like, I'm going to do this once. Because, maybe she only has this Jeep for 8 years. Get her through college and, into a real job. Or maybe she keeps it forever.
Sure.
I wanted to kind of something to get her through all of that.
Yeah, makes sense.
And be safe. And so I went full out on the Steer Smarts stuff, and those guys are fantastic.
Mhm.
First, they're the nicest guys on the planet, and then second, they really care about their stuff, and they'll answer your questions. If you got questions that you need to ask, then do it. So we did all of that and put that all together. We did a 2.5-inch lift kit on it at the same time. It had a little 1.5-inch puck lift on it, and
Right.
pulled that out. And then some little minor things with it just to get it
What lift
ready to go.
Did you go with anything specific, or just
No, not
kinda just a
not
stock-
yet.
Okay.
We did a Quadratec lift. It does have some really nice Fox shocks to go with it,
Okay.
and she does have it didn't come with control arms, so that's probably going to be the next thing to go with that. But it's a stock control arm, so they were able to align it as close as it possibly can. I mean, it's almost on the nose. Driving it super, super great. I mean, it way outperforms mine driving wise.
Well, you have to remember that's what a 2.5-inch lifted Jeep drives like.
Yeah, that's on 33s.
On
It's not on
33s.
37s and
Right.
a 3.5-inch.
Yeah,
lift.
you have to remember that.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been smashed on rocks repeatedly.
Or
Right.
driven up trees and bashed off things and bounced and
Driven up trees. Who does that?
Yeah.
I don't know who you're talking about, Jason.
Well, John reminded me,
Mr. Terry,
about
I
my
drive up a tree.
the tree. Yeah,
I didn't know you were
that
an
was a-
amateur arborist.
Oh my gosh, he loves driving up crap.
What's up this tree? Let's find out.
Let's go. Honey Badger, find out quickly.
Well, that's what it's there for.
But
No,
that's
it's
good.
not, Terry.
Well-
We tread lightly. You're supposed to avoid the trees.
Well, the tree's in the middle of the trail.
Avoid
Yeah.
avoid the trees, Terry.
Billy speaks for the trees.
I don't speak for the trees, but they're always a pain in my ass and in my way, and
They
I just
are.
try to avoid them.
Yeah.
Terry just drives up them
Just
and
drives
over
up,
them.
yeah. I didn't. The bad part about that is I didn't even realize I was up the tree
Until you're
until
like,
I
oh,
was
shit.
up the tree, and I was almost
I think
vertical.
you're up the wrong tree.
Yeah, that
Are you
was-
up the right tree or the wrong tree?
He
No,
was
it
up a tree, all right.
He was up a tree.
And nobody yelling for me to stop at all.
No, we wanted to see how
No,
far
we
you could
were
make it.
yelling. You just weren't
I wasn't
your
listening.
foot off the gas.
No.
Skinny pedal all the way.
But yeah, so she got it back. She's having a blast with it. She loves it. She fell in love with her Jeep all over again. And that, it's exciting. I've been out in my Jeep, doors off, top down. It's been a gorgeous week.
It has been.
So I've tried to do that. So that's my Jeep and
Wait,
story.
hold on. We have to talk about some major news
Oh yeah,
that
this is
happened
big.
in the
This is
state
big.
of Pennsylvania. And I'm bringing it
The
up because
news.
I freaking remembered it and hit the freaking button. And breaking news. In Pennsylvania, they passed or amended the law
Yes.
that says that Jeeps have to drive with doors on. So now it is legal officially in the state of Pennsylvania to drive with your doors off, but you still need to have mirrors.
Yes, you do have to have
You
mirrors.
still
Yes.
need to have
There's
mirrors.
3 mirrors.
3 mirrors. Well, technically, in the state of Pennsylvania, you only need to have 2 mirrors to be legal.
Okay.
You need to
Yep.
have a rear view mirror
And the
and
driver's side
a-
side mirror.
either or, actually.
Is it either or?
Okay.
It is technically either or. The way the law is written, it's either or. However, they do kind of fail you if you're missing a freaking mirror.
Yeah.
So,
Mirrors. I don't need them this stinking mirrors.
yeah, I don't need mirrors, man. What are mirrors for?
So is my way to
That's for looking
celebrate.
into the past, man. I
You
don't need to
just
look in the
maybe put a
past.
turn signal on and get into the next lane.
I know. Just go. You're bigger than everybody else.
Either way, make sure you have your mirrors on. You can head over to Extreme Terrain. You can head over to Summit, Jegs, anywhere to get, a simple set of mirrors to
Yes.
make sure you're legal. Amazon, make sure you have your mirrors. Our lawyers are kind of like on our asses about making sure you're legal on this shit.
Yeah,
It is
our-
also it's also
our
worth
legal
noting
team.
that somebody that I saw in one of the groups posted a notice to all of the inspection stations that said, regardless of that, for an inspection, doors must be present to pass inspection.
Yes.
Yeah, don't be an idiot.
That should
Yeah.
go without saying, but it's worth noting.
Yeah, put your doors on if you're going to go get an inspection. I mean, I would even say probably put your top on because they really don't care if it's raining and
Yeah.
you're leaving it out in the middle of the day and it's like, oh, it rained. Oops.
Well, you should, to be honest with you, should get it back to somewhat resembling factory when you take it to an inspection site, right? So but that's a great thing. I celebrated the doors being off, and I was like, you know what? I
You
don't
still
care
have
if it's
mirrors,
only for a
though.
couple of days. I do have mirrors. My mirrors are in the exact same place, whether the doors are on or off.
Yep.
Um,
But now it also allows for tube doors
yes.
as well.
Yep. I got
So
a set
tube
that's-
doors with mirrors are legal.
And that's really an easy way to handle that mirror situation. Is,
Yeah.
is
Correct. That's what I've got. I've got mine on the set of doors, and they actually look fairly stock.
are your tube doors still black?
Yes.
You should paint those.
I considered doing them
You should
in
paint those white. You should paint
Yes.
those white.
You think so?
100%. I
Somebody
love
had
that.
a set of white powder coated tube doors out that I
Yeah.
almost just went and
Yeah, you need to
retrieved.
paint those white.
You can
That would
paint them
look-
white
that would
pretty
look-
easy.
That would look so good.
because I considered just taking them to somebody to powder coat them, but maybe I'll just paint them.
Just paint them.
Mhm.
If they were on there year round, do it right. Get them powder coated.
Yeah, right.
But they're not on there all the time.
No, they
and
go on for a little here, a little there.
Yeah, do that. Just get the good rattle can. Try to paint match that, not bright white, but whatever white.
No, yeah,
It's
it's
a
a bit of a knockoff on the white.
Yeah. But do that. That'd be cool. I would
Oh, I
love
bet.
that. So do
No
that.
doubt, because I've seen it. It's
Yeah.
hot.
Coming up later in the episode, we're going to talk about winter upgrades. Winter's coming. What you called it? What'd you call it earlier?
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
I can't believe it's sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Yeah, I got up this morning to go to the gym, and the doors were
Yeah.
off.
It
And
is
popped
sweater
down.
weather.
I was cold,
Dude,
I was cold.
So I'm gonna bust your chops right here.
Yeah,
We used to drive to work every so
I know.
often.
I know.
And you would show up, no doors,
Yeah.
no top, and
Yeah.
it would be like 53 degrees.
I remember those days because we had.
And
It wasn't. Sun
That's
wasn't
like
even
a,
up by
that's
that
like
time.
a parka with the heat on full
Hold
blast.
on. And at the time, I was a little bit on the skinnier side. Now I kind of put some, some weight
But
on.
Yeah,
Either way, so my skinny ass was sitting
yeah.
in the passenger seat with like double sweatshirt on, like pants,
He was
freaking
ready to immolate
parka,
himself just to stay
hat,
warm.
like
yeah.
ski goggles, and I'm like fucking shivering.
That happened more than
and Terry's
once.
over there in
Oh
like
my
shorts and a
God.
t-shirt, and he's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
what's up? You all right over there?" I'm like, "Can we turn the heat on a little
I
bit?"
grew up in Antarctica.
There's I will concede to that. That is entirely accurate. I was an asshole. but I loved it. Oh my god!
You did
the
it just to
the drive
troll 'em.
home. The drive home was perfect though.
Oh yeah, the drive home was gorgeous.
Yeah,
And beautiful.
it's all about that drive
nice.
home. Yeah.
It was so nice.
But
Yeah.
if you're listening to us and you're driving home, make sure
You're wearing a sweater.
Put on your sweater.
put on your sweater for the sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
But no, send us some comments. Leave us a review. Do all the things, the little tiny things that our listeners should do. This is your penance for having to put up with us.
Mhm.
With that 1 hour a week. Please, it helps us out. And if you have a question, send it in. Send it our way. We'll be happy to look at it on the show. Maybe we'll do a full episode. Those are always fun when we have listener question episodes. So get that to us and get it in. Event season is almost over.
It is.
It's getting there.
It's getting dang close.
Yeah, we have 2 events on the calendar right now, and they happen at exactly the same time.
Which is horribly
Actually, there's
unfortunate.
3 events.
Is there 3 events?
There is 3 events. I added another one.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, what are those events?
Well, funny you should ask, Terry, because September 21st, which is this Saturday.
Oh my God, it's coming up. It's
It's
right
this
here.
Saturday is the Jeep Enthusiasts of Eastern Pennsylvania Trail Ride at AOAA. And we're going to be having a good old time for the entire weekend, camping out, enjoying, wheeling
Doing amazing things, Terry.
on Saturday and maybe some Sunday wheeling, enjoying the nice weather. And also, Terry is going to be heading down to the shore area,
Yeah.
hanging out on the boardwalk for the Fall New Jersey Jeep Invasion at Ocean City, New
New
Jersey.
Jersey.
for
I
the
can't wait.
for the Fall New Jersey.
I mean,
Jeep
I-
Invasion.
I want a full report out of that event.
We'll have a full report. Blinker Fluid Productions.
It's going to be a good old time.
Yeah, do it. But the cool thing about it is Oracle Lighting is a sponsor of that event.
Yep.
And after the boardwalk escapade, there's going to be a glow party.
That's going to be really
Yeah,
cool.
boy.
Yeah, at a local brewery. I don't have the name of the local brewery off the top of my head right now, but it's going to be a great time, and everybody with a Jeep is invited. Come out, see all the lights, get inspired, do some cool things.
Cool,
There will be
cool.
Oracle garb and swag given out.
Swag?
And we're actually going to give out an award too for the best lights.
Wow.
Does the award light up?
It doesn't, but it looks cool. This is the first year of these light parties. Let me.
I'm just
let
busting
me-
your chops like I'm supposed to do.
These are version 1.0s. I need.
You're 0.9 beta.
It's still beta for
you're,
sure.
You're working on that 1.0 release.
But next year there'll be. I've got ideas across the board. I've done, 4 or 5 events this year where I've done some sort of nighttime component to it.
Yep.
Next year,
Yep.
everything I do will have some sort of night.
Component.
I mean, we're a lighting company. It's best to
You
see
gotta.
at night.
You
Um,
have to.
So our thanks to Oracle for sponsoring that. Our thanks to Jamie at Blinker Fluid Productions, Jamie and Allison, Brendan and Jim, and all the folks there. They do an awesome job. So
Hells to the yeah.
can't wait. What was event number 3?
October 19th is Crawling for Canines at
Yeah.
AOAA,
Yeah.
supporting all those furry, four-legged friends that support the police and everything
That is
they
correct.
do for us.
And that is all about raising funds for the monitor systems that go into vehicles to keep an eye on those animals while they are in service in the vehicles. That is what the particular event is working on
Oh.
raising funds for.
Yes, and there is still a lot of spots open.
There
So if
are.
you're listening to this and you're questioning of whether you should go or not, I get that, you're probably waiting for the weather to come out and this and that. Just go and sign up, show the hell up, and support the pupperonis
Do
that
it. Do
know,
it. Do it.
support you
Yeah.
and
all right.
keep you safe.
What? Which park is that at? Is
It's
that
at AOA.
at AOA?
And
I
Bill,
am
you're
I
doing
am
your
leading
thing.
a group of the black red most extreme, and Jason is leading a group of the extreme green and blue.
The most extreme green, so much it's blue.
Exactly.
It's somewhere in between.
It's
Bill,
somewhere.
Bill,
Taking a
Bill
page out
goes
of
to
my book.
11.
Yeah, I go to
Except that I actually go to some greens.
I go to
I don't just drive on the greens to go to the blues that I want to go to.
I
Yeah.
go to 15. So yeah.
Yes, you go to yes.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Well, I will try to get to it.
It's going to be a good time.
Maybe I can finagle some Oracle.
Do you have a
love out of it.
gunner?
I have Mr. Mikey G.
He's gunning
Got
for
my
you.
back. He's got
I
my
gotcha.
back.
I hear you.
That's awesome. All right. Well, if you or your group has an event that you would like to have us talk about,
Yep.
get it on our calendar. Send us some info. info@jeeplifepodcast.com or any of our socials. Throw it on there too. But we'll get it on the calendar. I think there's some things coming up in Virginia Beach in November, and
I believe so. I don't.
I haven't put that on the calendar
Yeah.
yet, and so we'll see if we can put that on the calendar. That'd be great. info@jeeplifepodcast.com or throw it out to us on any of our socials.
Mhm.
We're active on our socials, so
Yeah.
get it to us. All right, it's weather.
Sweater weather.
I am going to put the top and doors back on my Jeep tomorrow.
Yeah. We're getting
Um,
to that point.
What?
I kind of forget why.
I'm back to working on my hoist. I'm like, I'm ready to take it off. It's like everyone's putting it back on.
I
what
forget
are-
why we wrote this topic down.
What are some winter upgrades or maintenance that might be needed going into the cooler times of the season? And for me, it's going to start with putting the doors and top back
Yeah.
on. Maybe I'll spend some time and clean up the top because it's been down and dusty and all that stuff. The interior of the top is not clean. I do have some Best Top cleaner to use on that. I'm gonna clean up the windows before I put them back on. So a little bit of love to the top before I do. I don't need to upgrade the top. It's in great shape. It's it's one of the OEM Twills, and it's in great shape. It's just dusty and dirty, and probably some spiders and stuff. I built some webs in there.
It's good for Halloween.
It is good for Halloween, but I think that's going to be where I start is getting that kind of prepared. And even when I looked under, when I took the top off, on top of the roll cage and the sound bar and stuff when I stand up in the vehicle, it's dirty from the summer and from years of not cleaning it. Maybe I'll clean that tomorrow before I put the top on. Well, I have it down.
Gotcha.
It's easier to get at it.
Yeah, and then that's a place that we don't often look is on top of that. I know that all my roll bar padding has faded. It's a nice gray on the top. I don't care. Maybe if my Jeep was a show Jeep or I didn't wheel it as much, then maybe I would care and I would get a new set of roll bar padding. But I don't know that I need it. It's one of those nice to haves.
It's not a necessary component.
Not a necessary.
It's not a
one.
performance
Yeah.
component.
Yep.
Hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm going to start
Hmm.
is in that area.
Cleaning. I would have to agree with you. However, my cleaning is a little bit usually more involved. I usually disassemble things,
Yes.
take skid plates off,
Yes.
clean up in there, get in there really good.
Yep.
So specifically the buggy needs to, I have this weekend, and then I have the Crawling for Canines.
Right.
So probably after Crawling for Canines, it's going to get disassembled a little bit. Some skid plates taken off, cross members removed, simple pieces put back in just to hold things in place.
Yep.
Usually pull it up onto the trailer, put my full rain jacket jumpsuit on and get up under there and
Yeah.
go to town. a lot.
A lot, yeah.
So that's gonna happen.
Yeah, your water bill that month always is.
I
Through
don't
the
have a water bill. I have an electric bill
There
that,
you go.
Part of my well.
Yeah,
That's about it.
that's right. Yep.
I'm just gonna make sure I don't run out of water.
Yeah, you need that.
Seriously. So yeah, cleaning, and then also the JK needs some serious cleanage to happen. Usually on the JK, this is about the time of the year that I kind of clay bar it and go through and really detail everything up and make
Get
sure
its protection for the salt coming up in the
Yeah.
winter.
make sure the frame's all coated and recoated, and maybe I think I actually have some work to do to go in there and fix the door, fix some the panel. There's some panels in the wheel wells that need to be cut out and re-welded in, and fixed, just because it's starting to rust out. It's it's getting up in there in age.
It is. It is. It's what now? 8 years old.
It's 2015. So
15.
it's 9 years
9
old.
I don't know why I
Almost
was confused
10.
at 16. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was actually built in 2014. So it is technically
old man.
10 years
Yeah.
old. So it's getting there, and it needs some love and it needs some support to help it, get back to it. There is some other stuff that's going to happen we'll talk about later, So
Alright.
cleaning is the biggest thing for me.
That's a big deal. The
It's
cleaning part.
I'm going to be honest with you. 2 Jeeps,
Yeah.
don't, if you hear about a guy complaining about like, oh, I have 2 Jeeps and I got to clean both of them, it's a pain in the rear and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like,
it's tedious. It's a lot.
it is.
Yeah.
And like when they go places and you take them out on the beach and there's still an inch of sand sitting in the bottom of the
Yeah.
freaking,
Yeah.
JK.
I still have sand everywhere.
And it's like, ugh. And like I always get to the point that I'm like, I should just remove everything and like take it down real clean
Yeah. Yeah.
and get it good.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh shit, I don't have time for that. What are we doing this
Who-
weekend?
Who has time for that? Who does? What about you, Jason? Anything you're hitting up for the winter?
Well, so first off, I definitely executed some de-beaching of the wife's JLU.
Oh, yeah.
Because that takes a beating, and she does not have the most rugged interior
No.
on the market.
No.
She has factory black carpet that is incompatible with dog
Dog hair,
from a
yep.
husky, and which is like a furricane. And the beach.
Hurricane.
we get back, and I'm like, I'm so glad that the beach came with us.
You're always
so,
taking some of the beach
you
with
know, courtesy of a mutual friend that operates a very well-established detailing facility. He absolutely does a great job. I wrote in the comment, it's like, any special directions? I'm like, de-beaching. So that happens. My big thing with all the maintenance that I've been doing has largely been with a modicum of winter coming in mind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
rotating tires, checking
Mm.
treads, making sure that, because some of the vehicles are used, some of the vehicles have older tires. The wife and I were on the cycle for new tires, so we're good. I have a non-Jeep vehicle that we don't like to talk about, and it's a
Pain in the-
minivan,
the
so
pain
we
in the
just
rear
like to throw things at it.
Yeah.
And my daughter's vehicle, so especially for them, is checking the treads, rotating those tires, making sure that everything looks in good shape
Yep.
for safe traction. Because around here, depending where anybody's listening from, if you're in the great area of the eastern Pennsylvania region,
Yep.
you are in what I deem the pink zone. And the pink zone is not snow and it is not rain. It is the unfortunate amalgam that happens in between. So we get a lot of ice
Mm.
or freezing rain or snow that has rain or rain that has snow. So traction is a huge thing around here for safety.
Yep.
So that's kind of the biggest thing on my mind prepping for winter.
Yeah, making sure that the tires are in good shape. They
That
have
is
the
your
right,
contact right there.
Yep, they have the right air pressure for all that. Doing that little thing, I 100% agree with that. Something I started this week is fluids. I just changed the oil in my Jeep.
Yep. Been up
Next
to
week
that.
we'll get Lexi's Jeep. The following week I'll get my work Jeep. But that's kind of where we started with that, and also your coolant, checking your coolant, because if it's watered down or anything you needed, you want to make sure it's ready for winter, because it does get cold here. We may not get the deepest snows like a Boston or something like that, but we'll get some cold weather, and you want to make sure that that your engine's ready to go with that, with the coolant and everything. So
and making sure that your heat runs. So I know
Right,
that
yep.
right now it's like, oh God, don't turn the heat on. I got
Yeah.
the AC on.
yeah,
But that's another thing that I'll do is I'll run it, turn it hot. There's not only is your heater core flowing, to your
Yes.
point about coolant, like no bubbles, no burps, no
Yep.
nothing, everything's flowing. Yes, it blows hot, and the key is it's always circulating hot because your engine's hot. But are your mix doors working, or the servos that drive them
blend
working?
doors, yep.
So when you turn it from happy time in the blue to
Yep.
heat time in the red, does it suddenly go from 68 to 98?
Yeah.
That's a key thing to check now before you need that when it's cold outside.
Yeah, I checked that this morning. That was one of my routines this morning. Going to the gym.
Just make
was-
sure, and your defroster too. That's
Yeah,
another one that
right.
your mode mixer, that
Yep.
your mode solenoid works as well for the dampener door, or the diverter door. So that does it go so I can defrost the
Yep,
windshield,
yep.
because
that's
that
a big
is-
deal. That is a big
That's
deal.
what we're heading
Very-
into
Yeah.
first, is
Yeah.
that frosty morning.
That's
Very
a good
important
idea.
details.
Yeah, so those fluids, checking that out, making sure to run the heater. Live on what we've got some tire pressure checking,
Mhm.
Some blankets
so-
in the car.
some blankets.
Always check tire pressures going into the season.
Yeah,
I
they
check.
change.
I would check mine like once a week,
Especially
because,
with
like,
big wheels.
Oh my gosh,
Big tires, I've noticed, move the
It's
most.
freaking annoying.
Well, I mean, if you have tire pressure monitoring system,
Yep.
Yeah.
TPMS in your vehicle, that'll check that for you automatically. That light's going to come on
Unless
the
you've
first-
overridden it.
I'm
and
gonna be
said,
honest with you. I
yeah.
still don't trust it.
Yeah, so I mine is super accurate when I check mine versus the power.
But
tank.
but I told it
Hey
12
Terry,
people.
guess what?
Mm.
Just check them.
Just check them.
But
Just
see,
check them.
it's a problem when you go wheeling and you've already overridden it and told it that 12 psi is totally acceptable.
Right.
Don't beep at me.
Yeah. Right.
12
Just
psi.
Check
Just
it.
let me know if it's less.
Yeah. Mine beeps at me when I air down.
Ding ding.
I put up with that for
Correct.
that little light. It's just another light that's on the dash. I think I have 3 or 4 lights.
You're getting
right
ready
now.
for
It's
Christmas. Look at all the
Christmas. It
lights.
is. What else you do?
Me?
Yeah.
To prep for maintenance? Oh, geez. So another thing that I'm kind of looking at right now is tools.
Yeah,
Like, what are the projects that I'm looking to tackle this winter? So as a lot of you know out there, I kind of park the buggy for the winter.
Yep.
And also, like, the JK's kind of going to get the maintenance done to it. So I got to think about, what tools do I need? Do I need to replace any of my tools that are broken or otherwise, or
Yeah.
kind of worn out? Do I have batteries that need to be replaced? Do
Parts,
I
or even just some
dispose
parts, some of the
disposable
parts
stuff
to go
too?
along with
So
it.
like, do I need work gloves? Do I need grinding
Exactly.
wheels? Do I need a new welding jacket? Do I need welding
No,
wire?
you have a new one.
No, I have new of everything, but I'm like thinking about like all this stuff.
Ah, you
This
bet
is
you
all the
do.
stuff that I'm thinking about.
Well,
like,
in summer
tools
it's
do you
easier to
need?
run out because the day's longer, all
yeah,
that stuff.
all of it.
But the winter, something's not there. You may have
But
to
also,
deal with
like,
snow.
if you're gonna get into a project in the winter and the weekend,
Yeah.
you don't want to have to be like, oh shit, I don't have that tool, and now I gotta wait 3 days, and that's gonna be okay. That's next weekend. Oh
Yeah.
crap, we have something planned next weekend. Then it turns into the next weekend.
Then
And
it's spring.
And then exactly, it's spring, and
That
your
happens.
jalopy's sitting in the garage. It's not done, and you can't go
Yeah.
wheeling your buddies. And then
Yeah.
you get the picture in the meme that says, "Oh, tons and 40s are cool, but the problem is you can't go because your junk's not done with your
That's
friends."
right. That's right.
So, yeah.
Well, geez, this feels like a vent session for you.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's not a vent session because none of my crap is down right now. We're doing good so far, but you got to make sure that
I
you
got
have that you have all your tools, man.
that's when he goes from break it Billy
Yeah.
to broke it Billy, because he
Yeah.
broke it in the
Broke it.
past.
Fixed it, broke it again. Now we're gonna fix it right the final time,
It's
now
Will,
we're back.
Will broke it Billy.
and then we're gonna break it again. So either way, we're gonna break it again.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tool thing is a good point, because I think between that and also thinking about the
But also special tools. Like there's some things that you need special tools with that you have to order, and it's not the show up in 2 days.
No,
so
on
it's not
Amazon.
there ain't no prime on that.
Right. It's like, oh, you need the
I need an inch pound thing. I'm going to do some re-gears. Okay,
Right.
wait a minute. Hang on.
and you got to order it from the guy, and the guy is, a 2-week wait time.
Right.
and-
It's almost like the old days.
yeah.
It's almost like 2005.
It's like when you need real tools and
Right.
real measurement and real
Correct.
like
it takes
precise
it takes
instruments.
Yeah.
more.
For sure.
Precise.
Uh,
From an engineering perspective.
From an
oh, yeah,
perspective,
we haven't
Perspective.
had that for a while.
an engineering perspective.
From an engineering perspective, you need to make sure that you have the proper measurement tools that are actually designed to measure
that are
to
accurate and repeatable
exactly, and that are
Exactly.
calibrated to an accurate
yeah.
and
to an
repeatable.
NIST
Yes.
traceable origin.
ANSYS. Yeah.
Okay.
ASTME certified.
We went down the engineering rabbit hole for a minute
standards.
there.
So,
Yep.
what other upgrades are good to do in the winter?
Oh, just cut your shit in half and like start welding, man.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what's gonna happen in the garage.
Yeah.
Well, for some of us.
We're gonna start cutting and welding and grinding and building and cutting some more and
Well.
making tubes and bending.
All right, Beavis. Chill.
Fun things.
He's getting very excited and
chill.
lathery about
yeah,
that.
no doubt. No doubt.
We are getting.
I'm
around.
waiting for that first cut to happen, because I told him, I said, I want to be here when you
When
take
I
when you take a
chop
cutoff
off
wheel and you cut through these two members.
Front.
Because I go, once you do that, then you're pot committed.
Yeah.
Then I
There-
know you're
yeah.
serious,
There
because at that
is
point there
no
is no
going
turning back until it's right again.
Because
Done.
you know what happens? It gets loaded onto a trailer with no front end
Oh boy.
Yeah.
when
Yeah,
we
well,
move.
that doesn't work for winter either.
So we need to make sure it's rolling.
Yeah.
By
Rollable.
by like quickly.
So the other thing that we've talked about often, I talk about it from a beach perspective. Others talk about it from a trail perspective. We've had previous recordings about it. Recovery gear. That's another
Yes.
thing that is typical to change a little bit in what is on the vehicle.
Yep.
Because now coming across somebody that might have just slid
Well,
off.
hold on. Can we back up real quick?
Sure.
Talking about recovery gear.
Okay.
This is the perfect time because it's still warm enough to clean it.
Get it out and clean it.
Clean
Yeah.
your recovery gear.
Clean what you have.
Clean what you got.
Yep.
If you want to add a piece or two, add it.
Unroll that winch.
Unroll
and
the
check
winch
everything.
line.
I
Use
actually
it a couple
have-
times over the summer.
Yep.
Make sure it's clean. Check. Unbolt it. You can actually check out YouTube videos of how to clean a winch line. Like there is YouTube videos of how to do it. Clean it. Take care of your junk.
Especially if you've been in the mud throughout
Yep.
the season.
Yep.
We talk about the Barrens and being out in some of those
Clean.
areas. That is definitely a super muddy area, and it's a different consistency of mud, and
Yep.
different areas of the country have different consistencies. So sometimes it can just be dusty. It
Yeah.
dries up, and
Yeah.
sometimes where we are, it can get dusty and it'll just kind of
Yep.
wash off.
Yeah.
Other places, it's very clay. It sticks. It's like glue. It's in there, and that just burns up your winch lines. It burns that type of stuff up.
And all the webbing, the everything you have, just clean it. That's a good idea. And then see what you have, And if you need something, do you need a shovel? Do you need,
Right.
some of
Track
the other
boards.
things? Yep.
If you have the room
Traction
to
boards.
keep track boards, that's
Yep.
a super easy thing when it's snowy out. That's just like sand. The winch line, especially a tow strap,
Yep.
because you're not necessarily hooking up to a tree so much as you might be planted and maybe helping somebody that
Yeah.
slid, and you
Yep.
just have to pull them off.
That's a normal thing that I like to do. Lexi and I'll go out and help people that get stuck in the snow,
Yep.
and we enjoy that. It's
For sure.
definitely check your recovery gear before you go. If you have winter maintenance or winter upgrade that you want to share with us, make sure to reach out. Send us an email, info@jeeplifepodcast.com. If we didn't hit something on your list, send it to us. Let us know. We'll add it at a future time. We'll talk about it. That'll be good.
For sure.
All right. Take us home.
Well, if you're looking where to find us, or better yet, just tell a friend because you already found us.
Yeah, tell your friend.
Hey, we know these cool guys over here that do a podcast, and I know you're into podcasts, so you should give them a listen. We're the Jeep Life Podcast, so let them know.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks to Nike for hanging out with us tonight and all the great music you add to us. You should start hearing it playing in the background as we speak. For Jetty Jason, Break a Bill, I'm Jeep and Terry. Here's a big Jeep wave to you, everybody. Cool. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. We appreciate you as always. Thanks a bunch. See you soon.